Late one humid Chicago evening, I carried the small black security camera from my backyard to a quiet electronics shop on 63rd Street, expecting nothing more than a quick diagnostic for the strange blackouts it had started recording. The technician plugged it in, watched the footage load, and his face drained of color. His voice shook as he whispered, "Mr. Zaha, leave right now. Don't go home. Don't call anyone. Just go." I stood frozen, the weight of what he'd seen already sinking into my bones like ice water. If stories of hidden eyes, shattered trust, and the long road back to love ever hit you hard, drop a comment below with if you've ever discovered someone close was watching you more closely than you knew. Your experiences keep these truths alive. Welcome back to your ultimate destination for gripping revenge stories, family betrayals, shocking betrayals, and emotional justice. Subscribe now and join a community and tell us where you're watching from. Turn on the notification bell for our next story. Are you ready to witness the ultimate payback? Let's get started. I am Mr. Zaha, and I'm 68 years old man. I never thought I'd need cameras. Not in Hyde Park, not in the house Grace and I bought in 1985 with the last of our savings and a prayer. The neighborhood had changed, gentrified in places, still rough in others, but our corner lot stayed quiet. Roses Grace planted still bloomed every June. The porch swing still creaked the same way it did when Jackson used to push his little sister Maya on it until she squealed. Maya, my youngest, the one who never quite forgave the world, or me, for taking her mother too soon. Grace left us in 2003. Breast cancer, fast and merciless. Jackson was 15, Maya just 9. I threw myself into Zaha Enterprises, bigger projects, longer hours, telling myself the money would keep them safe, keep them close. It didn't. Jackson moved to New York after college, climbed fast in finance, called twice a month if I was lucky. Maya stayed in Chicago, got her nursing degree, married a kind man named David, had 2 boys. But the calls grew shorter. Visits rarer. Holidays became polite obligations. By 68, the house felt too big. I installed the cameras mostly for peace of mind. Front door, back porch, driveway. Nothing fancy. Motion triggered, cloud storage, phone alerts. I checked them sometimes when insomnia hit, watching leaves skitter across the lawn or the neighbor's cat patrol the fence. Routine. Comforting. Then the glitches started. 3 weeks ago. Alerts at 2:14 a.m. Backyard motion. I opened the app. Black screen for exactly 17 seconds. Then normal again. Thought it was a power flicker. Happened twice more that week. I reset the camera, checked the wiring. Still happened. Last Tuesday, the blackout lasted 42 seconds. When the feed returned, the backyard looked different. The rose trellis slightly askew. A shadow near the garage door that vanished when I replayed it. I told myself it was age. Eyes playing tricks. But that night I couldn't sleep. I sat on the porch until dawn, Grace's old scarf around my shoulders, listening to crickets and distant trains. At sunrise I unmounted the backyard camera, small, weatherproof, the one that pointed toward the garage and the alley, and decided to take it in. The shop was a hole in the wall on 63rd, Tech Fix, run by a soft-spoken Nigerian man named Emeka, who'd fixed every gadget I'd ever owned since the early 2000s. He greeted me with a smile, same as always. "Mr. Zaha, camera trouble. Keeps cutting out," I said, handing it over. Black screens. Short bursts. Thought maybe the lens or the card. He took it to the back bench, plugged it into his laptop. I waited near the counter, flipping through an old copy of Ebony magazine from 2012. 5 minutes passed. 10. Emeka's voice came from the back. Low, unsteady. "Mr. Zaha, come here. Please." I walked back. The screen showed my backyard at night. Timestamp. Last Wednesday, 2:37 a.m. The feed was clear, no blackout. A figure in dark clothes, hood up, moved deliberately across the grass. Tall, athletic, familiar gait. The figure stopped at the camera, looked straight into the lens for 3 full seconds, long enough for the porch light to catch the side of his face. Maya's husband. David. Emeka's hands trembled on the mouse. This isn't the only clip. There are 7 different nights. He comes in through the alley gate, has a key, disables the camera each time, but this one, he missed the motion trigger by 2 seconds. It caught him before he killed the feed. I stared at the frozen frame. David, smiling David, church usher David, the man who called me Pops, and helped me fix the gutters every fall. Why? My voice sounded far away. Emeka swallowed. I don't know. But look here. He advanced the clip. David carried a small black device. He pressed it to the camera base. The screen went black. Signal jammer. Professional grade. He knew exactly what he was doing. Emeka ejected the SD card, handed it to me along with a USB copy. I don't want this in my shop. Whatever this is, it's not random. And if he knows you have the camera, he looked at me, fear in his eyes. Leave right now, he whispered. Don't go home. Don't call the police from your phone. Don't call anyone from your phone. Just go. I took the drive. Walked out into the humid evening. The street felt too bright, too normal. Cars passed. Kids laughed on bikes. I got into my Lexus, drove 3 blocks, pulled into a gas station lot, and sat there shaking. David. In my backyard. At night. With a jammer. I thought of Maya, my baby girl, now 32, working night shifts at University of Chicago Medical Center, raising 2 boys under 10. Thought of the way she'd hug me at holidays, quick and distracted. Thought of the last time she visited, 3 months ago, how she'd asked casually about the will, about the trust I'd set up for the grandkids, about whether I'd updated beneficiaries that I hadn't thought twice. Now every memory reframed itself in shadow that I didn't go home. I drove to Aid's house in Englewood, same cousin who'd sheltered me after the last fire story you heard. He took one look at my face and pulled me inside. Talk, he said that I did. Ade listened. Then he locked every door, drew the blinds, and poured 2 fingers of brandy. Call the police, he said. Not yet, I answered. I need to know why, and I need to see Maya's face when I ask her. That night, I lay awake on Aid's couch, replaying the footage on my laptop with headphones. 7 clips. 7 nights David entered my yard. Each time he went to the garage, my workshop. Each time he stayed 8 to 12 minutes. Each time he left the way he came. What was in my garage? Old tools. Blueprints. Boxes of Grace's things I couldn't bear to sort. The safe, bolted to the floor, where I kept originals of the trusts, the deeds, the life insurance policies. The safe that my heart stuttered that I didn't sleep. The next morning I texted Maya from Aid's phone, not mine. Hey sweetheart, can you come by the house this afternoon? Need to talk about something important. Bring the boys if you want. Her reply came fast. Sure, Dad. After school pickup. Around 4? Everything okay? Everything's fine, I lied. Just family stuff that I spent the day at Aid's, planning. I wouldn't confront her at home, not with David possibly watching. I'd ask her to meet me somewhere public. A cafe on 53rd, neutral ground. But first I needed more. I drove to a different electronics store, farther south, bought 3 new hidden cameras. Small, battery-powered, Wi-Fi. I returned to the house at midday when no one was around, slipped in through the back, and placed them. One in the living room facing the hallway, one in the garage aimed at the safe, one in the upstairs hallway outside the bedrooms. I left the house exactly as I found it. Drove back to Aid's. Watched the feeds on my laptop. At 3:47 p.m., the garage camera triggered. David, alone. He entered through the side door. He again. Went straight to the safe. Punched in a code. The door opened. My stomach dropped. He knew the combination. He pulled out a folder. Thick, legal-sized. Flipped through pages. Took photos with his phone. Replaced the folder. Closed the safe. Left. 6 minutes total. I sat there, numb. The man my daughter married had the code to my safe. Had been inside my house, my sanctuary, without permission. Had photographed documents that determined everything my children and grandchildren would inherit. Why? Money? Debt? Blackmail? Or something colder? At 4:12, Maya texted again. Running late, Dad. David has the boys at soccer. Can we do tomorrow instead? I stared at the message. Tomorrow. I typed back. No. Today. It's important. Meet me at the cafe on 53rd at 5. Alone. Danced. Then, okay. See you then. I forwarded the garage footage to Ade. He watched. His face hardened. You want me to come with you? No, I said. This is between me and my daughter. But I wasn't going alone. I slipped Grace's old service revolver, registered, locked away for decades, into my coat pocket. Not to use. To remember I still had the right to protect what was left. At 4:55 I parked near the cafe. Watched the door. Maya arrived at 5:03, scrubs still on from her shift, hair in a messy bun, looking tired but smiling when she saw me through the window. She slid into the booth across from me. Hey, Pops. What's up? You look serious. I slid my phone across the table. The garage footage cued, paused on David's face as he opened the safe. Watch, I said. Her smile faded. She pressed play. Color left her cheeks. She watched the whole thing. Twice. When it ended, she stared at the screen. That's not possible, she whispered. He doesn't have the code. I never gave it to him. You didn't have to, I said quietly. He got it somehow. And he's been in the house at night. 7 times we know of. Jamming the cameras. Taking pictures of papers. My will. The trusts. The deeds. Maya's hands shook. Dad, I didn't know. I believed her. The horror in her eyes was real, but belief didn't erase the next question. Then why is your husband stealing from me, Maya? Tears spilled. I don't know, she choked. But I'm going to find out. Tonight. She stood. Come with me. To our house. We confront him together. I hesitated only a second. Okay. We drove in silence. Her car, my gun still in my pocket, the weight of it both comfort and curse. The house was quiet when we arrived. David's car in the driveway. Boys at soccer practice until 7. Maya opened the door. David? She called. He appeared from the kitchen, casual in jeans and a Bears hoodie. Smile automatic. Hey, babe. Hey, Pops. Didn't expect you. Maya's voice cracked like glass. Show him the video, Dad. I played it on my phone. Held it up. David watched. His smile died slowly. Then he laughed. Short, nervous. That's not me. Deep fake or something. Come on, Maya. You know me. Maya stepped forward. I know the code to Dad's safe is my birthday plus Mom's. I never told you. So how did you open it? David's eyes darted to the door. I guessed. Look, this is ridiculous. Maya's voice rose. You've been in his house at night. Photographing documents. What? David backed up a step. It's not what you think. I was protecting us. Protecting us? Maya echoed that. He exhaled. We're in trouble. Bad trouble. Medical debt from my mom's chemo last year. I didn't tell you the full amount. 38,000. Collectors calling. I thought, if I could get a look at the trusts, see if there was a way to advance some of the grandkids' money. For emergencies. I was going to ask, but I knew you'd say no. Maya stared. You were going to forge documents? Steal from my father? No. Just leverage. Show the lawyers we needed it early. I never took anything. I spoke then, quiet, steady. You disabled my cameras. You came at night. You hid it from your wife. David looked at me, pleading now. I was ashamed, Mr. Zaha. I thought if I could fix it quietly, you wouldn't have to know how badly I failed your daughter. Maya's tears fell freely. You failed me by lying. By sneaking. By risking everything we have. David sank into a chair. Head in hands. I'm sorry. God, I'm sorry. The room was silent except for Maya's soft sobs. That I looked at my daughter. At the man she'd chosen. Then I made my choice. We're calling the police, I said. Not to arrest. To report the break-ins. To get it on record. And then we talk. All of us. About money. About honesty. About family. David looked up, shocked. You're not pressing charges? Not tonight, I said. But you're going to counseling. Both of you. And you're going to pay back every cent of stress you caused me. With work. With truth. With time. No shortcuts. Maya reached for my hand. Dad, I squeezed it. We've lost enough, I told her. We're not losing each other. David nodded. Slow, broken. I'll do whatever it takes. I believed him. Because sometimes the deepest betrayal isn't malice, it's fear wearing a mask. And sometimes, the bravest thing a family can do is take the mask off together. If this opening act, quiet unease turning to chilling discovery, a father's trust cracking under hidden footsteps, has you holding your breath. Comment your thoughts below. Have you ever found proof that someone you loved was keeping dangerous secrets? How did it change everything? Share if you're ready. Your courage helps light the path ahead. The drive to Maya and David's house in South Shore felt endless, even though it was only 15 minutes from the cafe. Streetlights flickered past in slow motion, casting long shadows across Maya's face in the passenger seat. She hadn't spoken since we left. Her hands stayed folded tight in her lap, knuckles pale. I kept both hands on the wheel, steady, the way I always did when the world threatened to spin off its axis. That David's car was still in the driveway when we pulled up. The porch light was on, same soft yellow bulb I'd helped him replace last fall. The boys' soccer gear lay scattered near the front door, cleats caked with grass, water bottles half empty. Normal life signs. They made the moment feel surreal. Maya got out first. I followed, coat pocket heavy with Grace's revolver. Not loaded. Never had been in recent years. But the weight reminded me I was still capable of protecting what mattered. She opened the door without knocking. David? He appeared from the hallway, phone in hand, mid-text. The smile started automatically, then froze when he saw both of us. His eyes flicked to me, then to Maya's tear-streaked face. What's going on? He asked, voice too careful. Maya didn't answer with words. She walked straight to him, took his phone from his hand, and dropped it on the entry table. Then she pulled out her own phone, opened the video I'd sent her, and held it up so he could see the paused frame of his own face at my safe. David's color drained in stages. First cheeks, then lips, then the skin around his eyes. He looked like a man watching his house burn from across the street. That's not, he started. Don't, Maya cut in. Her voice was low, dangerous. Don't lie again. Not tonight. I stepped forward, closing the door behind me. The latch clicked like a judgment. Explain, I said. One word. All I had energy for. David looked between us, trapped, cornered. Then his shoulders dropped. The fight leaked out of him like air from a punctured tire. Can we sit? He asked quietly. Maya shook her head. Here. Now. He leaned against the wall, slid down until he sat on the floor, back to the baseboard, knees up, hands loose between them. Defeated posture. I'd seen it on job sites when men got caught stealing materials. Shame made the body small. I'm in debt, he said. Not the 38,000 I told you about, Maya. That was the start. It's closer to 180 now. Maya inhaled sharply. Debt? She repeated. From what? David stared at the floor. My mom's treatment. Then, bad investments. Crypto. Stocks. I thought I could make it back quick. I couldn't. Then payday loans. Then, people who don't wait for payday. I felt the revolver press against my hip. Not anger yet. Cold clarity. You came to my house, I said. At night. With a jammer. Opened my safe. Photographed documents. David nodded once, slow, miserable. I needed proof we had access to funds. The trust for the boys. The life insurance. If I could show the lenders, or the guys who handle collections, that there was money coming, they'd give me time. Maybe restructure. I never planned to take anything. Just show them. Maya's voice cracked. You were going to use my father's death for leverage? While he's still alive. David flinched. I didn't think of it that way. I thought of it as protecting us. Protecting the boys. If they came after me, they might come after you. After them. Maya stepped closer. You brought danger to my father's door. You lied to me. Every night you said you were working late. You were breaking into his house. I was ashamed, David whispered. Every time I came home and kissed you goodnight, I hated myself a little more. But I kept telling myself, one more time. Just one more photo. Then I'd stop. Then I'd come clean. He looked up at me, eyes wet, pleading. I love your daughter, Mr. Zaha. I love those boys. I never wanted to hurt you. I just couldn't see another way out. The silence stretched, thick, suffocating. Then Maya spoke, voice barely above a whisper. How did you get the safe code? David swallowed. Your birthday plus your mom's. You told me once, years ago, when we were setting up the boys' college accounts. You said it was the same code your dad used for everything important. I remembered. Maya closed her eyes. Tears slipped free. You used my mother's memory to rob my father. David bowed his head. I'm sorry. I felt something crack inside my chest. Not anger, but grief. For Maya. For the boys sleeping in their rooms upstairs. For the man who'd once seemed like family. I pulled out my phone. I'm calling the police, I said again. David nodded. I know. Maya spun toward me. Dad, no. Not yet. The boys, they'll wake up to flashing lights. Social workers. Questions. They deserve to know the truth, I said gently. But not like this, she pleaded. Not tonight. I looked at David. You have until morning. Pack a bag. Go to a hotel. Tomorrow you turn yourself in, voluntary statement. Break-ins. Trespassing. Whatever they charge. And you tell them everything. Every lender, every threat. No more secrets. David met my eyes. I will. Maya's voice trembled. And us? What happens to us? I reached for her hand. We get help. All of us. Counseling. Financial advisors. Whatever it takes. But no more lies. No more nights in my backyard. She nodded, small, shattered. David stood slowly. I'll pack. He disappeared upstairs. We heard drawers open, zippers, soft footsteps. Minutes later, he came down with a duffel and his keys. "I'll text you the hotel," he said to Maya. "I love you." "I'm sorry." She didn't answer. Couldn't that he looked at me one last time. "Thank you for not calling them tonight." I didn't reply till he left. The door closed softly. Maya sank onto the couch. I sat beside her. She leaned into me, the way she had at 9 when nightmares woke her after Grace died. I wrapped an arm around her shoulders. "I trusted him," she whispered. "With everything." "I know." We sat like that until the boys' practice ended. Maya wiped her face, went upstairs to greet them, tucked them in with bedtime stories and extra hugs. I waited in the living room, staring at the family photos on the mantel. Maya's wedding day, David kissing her cheek, the boys as toddlers on my lap, Grace holding newborn Maya, smiling that radiant smile. When the house quieted again, Maya came back down. "I'm staying here tonight," I said. "On the couch. I'm not leaving you alone." She nodded. "Thank you, Dad." We didn't talk much after that. She brought me a blanket, a pillow, kissed my forehead like I used to kiss hers. "I love you," she said. "I love you too, baby girl." She went upstairs that I didn't sleep. Instead, I opened my laptop, quietly, and pulled up the live feeds from the new hidden cameras I'd placed that afternoon. Living room. Empty. Hallway. Empty. Garage. Empty. But at 1:47 a.m., the garage feed triggered that a figure, hood up, gloves, entered through the side door. Same key. Same deliberate steps. Not David. Someone else. Taller. Broader shoulders. Moved like he owned the place. He went straight to the safe. Punched in the code. Opened it. Pulled out the same folder David had photographed. Flipped through. Took more photos. Then, something new. He removed a single envelope. Thick. Official looking. Slipped it into his jacket. Closed the safe. Left 0.6 minutes that I froze the frame on his face. Just a glimpse under the hood. When he turned toward the camera that I knew that jawline. That scar above the left eyebrow. Jackson.my son. The one who'd moved to New York. The one who hadn't visited in 8 months. The one who'd called last week asking, casually, if I'd updated my well lately. My hands shook so badly I nearly dropped the laptop that I replayed the clip. Again. Jackson, not David. Or both? I sat there in the dark living room, heart hammering, watching the timestamp tick forward at 2:03 a.m. Another feed. Living room camera. Jackson again. Inside the house now. Moving quietly through the hallway. Up the stairs. Toward the bedrooms. Toward where Maya and the boys slept. I stood. Quiet. Careful. Grace's revolver suddenly very real in my pocket. I crept to the foot of the stairs. Listened. Silence. Then, a soft creak on the landing that I flicked on the hallway light. Jackson froze at the top. Black hoodie, gloves, eyes wide in the sudden brightness. "Dad?" His voice cracked. I raised the revolver. Slow, steady, not pointed, but visible. "Downstairs," I said. "Now." He raised his hands. Descended slowly. Maya appeared at the top of the stairs, robe on, hair wild, eyes huge. "Jackson?" He looked up at her. "Maya, I can explain." She stared at him, then at me. "Dad, what's happening?" I kept my eyes on my son. "Sit." I told him. He sat on the bottom step. I lowered the revolver, but didn't put it away. "Talk," I said. Jackson exhaled, shuddering. "It started with David," he said. "He called me 6 months ago. Said he was in trouble. Needed cash fast. I loaned him some. Then more. Then I got pulled in. The same people he owed, they came after me too. Said if I didn't help collect, they'd hurt him. Hurt Maya. The boys." Maya's hand flew to her mouth. "You knew?" she whispered. "I knew he was in debt," Jackson said. "I didn't know how deep until they showed up at my apartment in New York. 2 guys. Said David had promised them access to Dad's trusts. Said if I didn't get proof, documents, signatures, they'd go after the family." He looked at me, pleading. "I came here to protect you. To get the papers before they did. I thought if I handed them over, they'd leave us alone." I stared at him. "You broke in. You took an envelope. What was in it?" Jackson swallowed. "The updated will. The one you sent me last month, draft. You asked if I had thoughts. I said it looked fine. But I scanned it. Sent it to them. They wanted the original. Said it proved you were planning to cut David out. Or something. I don't know. I panicked." Maya's voice broke. "You were going to give strangers Dad's will? So they could what, forge it? Blackmail him? Jackson bowed his head. I thought I was buying time. I thought I was saving you. I felt the revolver heavy in my hand. You saved no one, I said quietly. You endangered everyone. Silence. Then Maya spoke, voice cold, final, get out. Jackson looked up. Maya, get out. He stood slowly. Looked at me. Dad. I'm sorry. I didn't answer till he walked to the door. Paused. I love you both, he said. I'll fix this. The door closed behind him. Maya sank to the floor. Sobs. Deep, wrenching. I knelt beside her. Held her. The house felt colder than it ever had. But the cameras were still running. And the night wasn't over. At 3:12 a.m., my phone buzzed. An alert from the front door camera that a black SUV idled across the street. Two men stepped out. One pointed toward the house. The other pulled out a phone. They weren't here to talk. I looked at Maya, still crying on the floor. Then I picked up my phone. This time I dialed 911. Someone's outside my daughter's house, I told the operator. They've been stalking us. Breaking in. I have video. Send officers now. Maya looked up. Eyes wide. I met her gaze. No more secrets, I said. No more running. The sirens started distant, then closer. And in that moment, father protecting daughter, family cracking open under truth's weight. I knew the betrayal had only just begun to show its full face, but so had the chance for something stronger on the other side. If this turning point, where one betrayal reveals another, where a brother's desperate choices threaten everything, and a father must decide between mercy and safety, has your pulse racing? Comment your thoughts below. Have you ever had to protect someone you love from someone else you love? How did you choose? Your stories carry us through the dark. The sirens arrived faster than I expected. 2 squad cars sliding quietly into the cul-de-sac, lights flashing blue and red, but no wailing horns. They must have heard the urgency in the 911 call. Officers stepped out, 2 uniforms, one plainclothes detective with a notepad already open. I met them on the porch before they reached the door, keeping my voice low so the boys upstairs wouldn't wake. Mr. Zaha? The detective asked, mid-40s, calm eyes, badge reading Ramirez. You called about intruders? I nodded. Handed him my phone with the live feed still running from the hidden cameras. The black SUV had pulled away the moment the first siren sounded, but I'd captured the plates. Illinois temporary tags, no front plate. The 2 men's faces were grainy but clear enough under streetlight. They were watching the house, I said. My son just left, Jackson Zaha. He admitted breaking in earlier tonight. There's footage, multiple nights. And my son-in-law, David, was doing the same weeks before. Debt, threats. They're connected. Ramirez watched the clip of Jackson in the hallway, hood up, moving toward the bedrooms. His expression hardened. You have the original files? On the laptop inside. And cloud backups. He glanced at his partner. Secure the perimeter. Call for another unit. Check the plates. Maya appeared in the doorway, robe tied tight, eyes swollen but steady. The boys are still asleep, she whispered. I told them it was a car backfiring if they wake. Ramirez nodded. We'll keep it quiet. But we need statements. Both of you. We moved inside. The officers took positions, one at the front window, one at the back. Ramirez sat at the dining table with us. I played every clip. David's 7 nighttime visits, the jammer, the safe photos. Then Jackson's entries, first the garage, then inside the house. The envelope he took. The way he paused at the top of the stairs, looking toward the boys' rooms. Ramirez listened without interrupting. When the last clip ended, he exhaled slowly. This is felony burglary. Multiple counts. Possible conspiracy to commit fraud or extortion. If debt collectors are involved, we're talking organized crime elements. We'll run the plates, pull financials on both men. But Mr. Zaha, you said your son left minutes ago? Yes. Said he'd fix this. Ramirez jotted notes. We need to bring him in for questioning. Tonight if possible. Voluntary first. If he runs, he won't run, I said, hoping it was true. He's scared. Not dangerous. Maya spoke then, voice small. He's my brother. He's always been the golden one. Successful. Independent. I never thought. Ramirez looked at her gently. Family secrets cut deepest. We'll handle it carefully, but we need his location. I pulled up Jackson's last text, from an hour ago, sent right after he left, staying at the Hyatt downtown. Room 1421. I'll turn myself in tomorrow. Promise. Give me one night to think. Ramirez copied the info. We'll send a unit to make contact. No arrest yet, just interview. If he cooperates, he stays out tonight." He stepped outside to radio it in. Maya and I sat in silence. The house felt foreign, every creak a threat, every shadow hiding eyes. After 10 minutes, Ramirez returned. "Units en route. They'll call when they make contact. In the meantime, do you feel safe here tonight?" Maya shook her head. "I can't stay. Not with the boys. Not knowing who else might come." I stood. "Then you come to AIDS with me. Both of you. The boys too. It's secure. Ade has a guest room. Pull out in the living room. We'll leave now." Ramirez nodded approval. "Good call. We'll have a patrol car follow you. And tomorrow, station at 9 a.m. Bring the laptop. All drives. We'll take formal statements, file reports, get protective orders if needed." Maya went upstairs to wake the boys gently. "Grandpa's house tonight. Adventure sleepover." They came down sleepy-eyed but excited. Little Elijah clutching his stuffed dinosaur, Theo rubbing his eyes, and asking if there'd be pancakes that we packed quick bags. Locked up. Left in my Lexus. Ramirez's unmarked car trailing us the whole way to Inglewood. Ade opened the door before we knocked. Lights already on, coffee brewing. He took one look at our faces and didn't ask questions. Just helped carry bags, set up the pull-out, made hot chocolate for the boys. When the kids were settled, Elijah snoring almost instantly, Theo whispering questions until sleep took him. Maya, Ade, and I sat at the kitchen table. Maya stared into her mug. "He used Mom's birthday for the safe code," she said again, like the wound was still bleeding fresh. Jackson knew it too. They both knew it. Ade shook his head slowly. "Family knows the soft spots." I reached across the table, took her hand. "We rebuild the codes. We rebuild everything. But first, we protect what's left." She nodded. Tears fell into the chocolate. At 4:22 a.m., my phone buzzed. Ramirez. Jackson was at the Hyatt. Cooperated fully. Gave a statement. Admitted the break-ins, the photos, handing the will copy to a contact he met once in New York. Said the contact threatened Maya's family if he didn't comply. We're pulling the contact's description: tall, accent, scar on neck. Jackson staying put tonight under watch. We'll bring him in formally tomorrow. I exhaled. He's safe. For now. He asked me to tell you he's sorry. Said he'll plead guilty to whatever they charge if it keeps Maya and the boys out of it. I looked at Maya. Told her. She closed her eyes. "I don't know if I can forgive him." "You don't have to tonight," I said. "Or tomorrow. Forgiveness isn't a deadline." Ade poured more coffee that we talked until dawn. Quiet plans. Change all locks. New safe. Different code. No family dates. Financial audit. Lawyer first thing. Therapy. For Maya. For the boys if they sense the tension. For me too. Maybe. At sunrise. The boys woke hungry. Ade made pancakes. Thick. Golden. Drowning in syrup. Elijah smeared some on Theo's nose. Laughter. Small. Fragile. But real. Maya watched them. Smiled through tears. "They're okay," she whispered. "That's what matters." I nodded. But the tension didn't lift. It coiled tighter. At 8:45 a.m. Ramirez called again. Change of plans. Jackson's contact, the one he met in New York, turned up dead last night. Hotel room in Midtown. Apparent overdose. But timing's too clean. We're treating it as suspicious. Jackson's now under protective custody. We're moving him to a safe house until we sort this. Maya's hand flew to her mouth. "He's in danger?" she asked. "Possibly," Ramirez said. "Whoever's behind the debt, they don't like loose ends." Jackson's statement implicates them. We're pulling records on the payday lenders, the crypto scams. Names are surfacing. Small-time outfit out of Gary, but connected higher. We need you all at the station by 10. Protective detail will escort. We dressed quickly. Packed the boys' backpacks. School could wait. A patrol car arrived. 2 officers, comm professionals. They followed us downtown. The station waiting room smelled of burnt coffee and disinfectant. Ramirez met us, led us to a conference room. Jackson was already there, handcuffed to the table, but not in orange. Just jeans and hoodie. Eyes red-rimmed. When he saw Maya, he stood, chains rattling. "Maya," she stopped in the doorway. "Don't," she said. "Not yet." He sat back down. Looked at me. "Dad, I never wanted this." I sat across from him. "Then why?" He exhaled, shaky. "Because I was drowning. Same as David. But worse. I lost my job 6 months ago, quietly. Bad trades. Margin calls. I couldn't tell you. Couldn't face it. The same people David owed, they found me. Offered a way out. Help us with your family's money. We'll erase the debt. I thought small stuff. Photos. Info. Then it grew. They wanted the original will. Said they could adjust it. I refused that part. That's when they threatened Maya. The boys. Said accidents happen. Maya's voice ice. You believe them? I believe they'd hurt you to get to Dad. So I came here. Got the envelope. Planned to hand it over, then disappear. By time. But last night, after I left your house, I couldn't do it. I called them. Told them no more. That's when they said the contact was handled. Then silence. Ramirez leaned forward. We're tracing calls. The dead man in New York, same network. Your brother's cooperation just made him a target too. Jackson looked at Maya. I'm sorry. For everything. For scaring you. For using Mom's memory. For being weak. Maya stared at him a long time. Then she spoke, soft, but clear. You're my brother. I love you. But love doesn't mean trust right now. You put my children in danger. You broke into Dad's house. You let strangers photograph our future. Jackson bowed his head. Tears fell onto the table. I know. She continued, but I won't let them win. We'll testify. We'll fight. And when this is over, maybe we start again. Slowly. With truth. Jackson looked up, hope flickering. Maya turned to Ramirez. What happens next? Protective custody for all of you. Safe house, out of city. We move tonight. Federal involvement if organized crime links confirm. You'll be safe, and we'll build the case. I looked at my children, both broken, both still here. Then at the detective. We'll do what's needed. Ramirez nodded. Pack light. We leave at 1800 hours. Outside the room, Maya leaned against me. I'm scared, Dad. I know, but I'm not running. I kissed her forehead. Neither am I. The day stretched. Lawyer meetings, more statements, calls to the school excusing the boys. Ade brought clothes, toys, food. The safe house was a nondescript duplex in a suburb north of the city. Fenced yard, cameras, 2 officers on rotation that we arrived at dusk. The boys thought it was a secret vacation. They ran through the rooms, claiming beds. Maya and I stood on the back porch, small, concrete, chain-link fence. Jackson was in a different location, separate for safety. Maya stared at the darkening sky. Do you think we can ever be a family again? I thought of Grace, of her laugh, of her insistence that love outlasts mistakes. I think we already are, I said. Broken, but still here, still fighting for each other. She leaned her head on my shoulder. Then we keep fighting. Inside, Elijah called for Grandpa to read a story. I went in. Maya followed. The night settled around us, tense, watchful, but together, and somewhere in the dark, the people who'd hunted us were being hunted back. The tension hadn't broken, but it had shifted from fear toward fragile, stubborn hope that if this chapter, where layers of betrayal peel back to reveal shared vulnerability, where siblings face each other across a chasm of hurt, and a family chooses to stand together under threat, has left you aching and hopeful. Comment your thoughts below. Have you ever had to rebuild trust with someone who endangered what you loved most? What kept you from walking away? Your honesty lights the way through these shadows. The safe house sat on a quiet cul-de-sac in Skokie, 2-story brick duplex with beige siding, a chain-link fence around a small backyard, and curtains that never quite opened all the way. Inside smelled faintly of lemon cleaner and takeout pizza. The boys claimed the smaller bedroom immediately, turning it into a fort with blankets and pillows. Maya and I took the master, 2 twin beds pushed against opposite walls, a nightstand between them holding a single lamp. Officers rotated shifts outside, one in an unmarked sedan across the street, another patrolling the alley. We were safe, but safety felt like a thin sheet of glass, clear, but breakable. The first 2 days passed in a haze of routine forced upon us. Mornings, breakfast, cereal, milk from a carton that tasted slightly off, schoolwork packets the officers brought from the boys' teachers. Afternoons, quiet games, puzzles, whispered stories about Grace to keep the boys from asking why we couldn't go home. Evenings, Maya and I sat on the back steps after the kids slept, staring at the fence, trading silences more than words. Jackson's location stayed secret, even from us. Ramirez called twice daily with updates. He was cooperating fully, providing names, dates, call logs. The dead contact in New York had been ruled homicide, Strychnine in his coffee, fast and ugly. Fingerprints on the cup matched a known enforcer for the Gary-based crew. Warrants were out. Assets frozen. But the crew's leader, a man named Viktor Korsakov, mid-50s, ex-Soviet military turned loan shark, remained ghost. No photo, no recent sightings. Just whispers of a scar across his throat and a habit of collecting family heirlooms as collateral. On the third night, Maya broke the silence on the steps. "I keep thinking about Mom," she said. "How she'd sit with us when we fought as kids. She never took sides. Just made tea and waited until we remembered we loved each other." I nodded. She believed people could come back from anything. Maya looked at me, eyes red-rimmed but clear. "Do you still believe that?" "About Jackson?" I exhaled slowly. "I believe he's drowning. Same as David. Same as I did after your mother died. Working myself to death so I wouldn't have to feel the empty house. Fear makes monsters of good people. Doesn't excuse it, but it explains it." She leaned her head on my shoulder. "I miss him. Even now. Even after everything. I know." We sat until the cold drove us inside. The fourth day cracked everything open. Ramirez arrived at 11:17 a.m. No knock. Just a quiet key in the lock from the officers outside. His face was tight. "We have a credible threat," he said without preamble. "Intercepted call last night." Korsakov's voice, confirmed by voice analysis. "He knows you're in protective custody. Doesn't know the exact house yet, but he's narrowing it. Said he's collecting what's owed, personally. Mentioned the old man's house and the girl's kids." Maya's hand flew to her throat. "The boys, we're moving you. Now. Different location, Wisconsin border. Federal marshals will escort. Separate transport for Jackson. He's testifying tomorrow in closed session. Grand jury. If he holds, we can take down the whole network." I stood. "How soon?" 30 minutes. "Pack essentials only." The boys sensed the shift. Elijah clung to Maya's leg. Theo asked why we had to leave again. Maya knelt, hugged them both. "It's like a spy game," she said, voice steady for them. "We get to go on another adventure." They bought it. Barely that we packed in silence. Clothes, toothbrushes, the stuffed dinosaur, Grace's scarf I'd brought from home. Officers helped carry bags to 2 black SUVs parked in the garage. One for Maya and the boys. One for me. Ramirez pulled me aside before we left. "Jackson asked to see you. Before the move. 5 minutes. He's in the city, secure room at the federal building. Said it's important." I looked at Maya. "Go," she said. "We'll be okay. Tell him I'm not ready to talk. But I'm listening." I nodded. The drive downtown was silent, motorcade tight, no sirens. We entered through an underground garage, elevators to a nondescript floor. Ramirez led me down a hallway lined with locked doors. Jackson waited in a small interview room. Table bolted to the floor, 2 chairs, one-way mirror. No cuffs this time. He stood when I entered. "Dad." He looked thinner, eyes hollow, but clearer than I'd seen in years. Saturday's silence stretched, long enough to feel the weight of every missed birthday, every unanswered call. "I'm testifying tomorrow," he said finally. "Full immunity for my cooperation. Names, accounts, everything. They'll get Korsakov. The crew will fold." I nodded once. "But that's not why I asked for you." He reached into his pocket, slowly, so the officer in the corner could see. Pulled out a folded paper. Placed it on the table. "I wrote this last night, after they told me about the threat." I unfolded it, handwritten. Neat block letters. To Dad and Maya, I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. I let fear turn me into someone who hurt the only people who ever truly loved me. I broke into your home, Dad. I photographed documents that were yours by right. I endangered Maya and the boys. I handed pieces of our family to strangers who wanted to destroy it. I told myself I was protecting you. That was a lie. I was protecting myself from shame, from failure, from having to admit I'd lost everything I'd built. I lost my job, my savings, my pride. And instead of coming to you, honestly, humbly, I hid. Then I stole that. I'm sorry doesn't cover it. But I'm saying it anyway. Tomorrow I testify. If I make it through, the people who threatened us go away. If I don't know that I tried to fix what I broke. The immunity deal includes a restitution clause. Every cent I owe you, plus interest, paid from any future earnings. I'll work the rest of my life to repay it. Dad, you gave me everything. A name that means radiance. A mother who loved fiercely. A home that never turned me away. I threw it back in your face. I hope one day you can look at me and see the boy you raised again, not the man I became. Maya, you were always the brave one. The one who stayed close. The one who held the family together when Mom left. I envied that. Resented it. Used it. I'm sorry for every time I made you feel alone, that if you never speak to me again, I'll understand. But if there's even a crack of possibility, I'll wait. No pressure. No demands. Just waiting. I love you both. Always have. Even when I acted like I didn't. Jackson, I read it twice. Folded it carefully. Placed it in my breast pocket. Jackson watched. Breath held. I met his eyes. You're testifying tomorrow, I said. That's a start. Not redemption. A start. He nodded, tears slipping free. I know. I stood. But you're still my son. His breath caught. I walked around the table. Pulled him up. Hugged him. Hard. Like when he was small and scared of thunderstorms. He clung back, shaking. I'm sorry, Dad. I know. I stepped back. Cupped his face. Survive tomorrow. Then we talk. All three of us. No shortcuts. No more secrets. He nodded, fierce. I will. Ramirez cleared his throat. Time. I left the room. Didn't look back. The move to Wisconsin happened fast. 2-hour drive. Convoy tight. New safe house. Farmhouse outside Kenosha. Fields on 3 sides. 1 road in. Marshals on perimeter. The boys loved it. Ran through the grass. Chased fireflies at dusk. Maya watched them from the porch, arms wrapped tight around herself. That night, after they slept, she found me in the kitchen. He's testifying tomorrow? Yes. She sat across from me. I read the letter. You left it on the table. I nodded. She exhaled. I hate him right now, but I miss him. How does that work? Love doesn't vanish, I said. It gets buried under hurt. Digging it out takes time. She reached for my hand. Will you be there? At the testimony? If they allow it. If they allow family. Yes. She squeezed. Then I want to be there too. The next morning, grand jury day, Ramirez called at 6:42 a.m. Jackson's en route to the courthouse. Closed session. But we've arranged remote viewing for family. Secure feed here. You can watch. He asked for you specifically. Maya nodded when I told her that we gathered in the living room. Laptop on the coffee table. Boys playing in the yard under Marshall's supervision. The feed connected at 9 o'clock sharp. Grainy but clear. Federal courthouse room. Jackson at a table, suited, hair neat. Prosecutor beside him. Grand jurors in rows, faces blurred for security. Jackson was sworn in. The prosecutor began. Mr. Zaha, state your full involvement with Victor Korsakov and Associates. Jackson spoke, clear, steady. I first contacted Korsakov's network 6 months ago after losing my job. I owed approximately $240,000 in margin debt and loans. They offered debt forgiveness in exchange for information on my father's financial holdings, specifically trust documents and wills. I provided initial details, then photographs, then originals. I entered my father's home without permission on multiple occasions. I photographed and removed documents. I did this under threat to my sister's family. Maya's hand tightened on mine. The prosecutor continued. Did you believe the threats were credible? Yes. They showed me photos of my sister at work, of my nephews at school. Said accidents happen. Did you intend to harm your family? No. I believed I was buying time, protecting them. I was wrong. Questions went on. Dates, amounts, names. Jackson answered every one. No hesitation. No evasion. Then the prosecutor asked the final question. Do you regret your actions? Jackson looked straight into the camera, though he couldn't see us. Every second. I betrayed the 2 people who gave me everything. I endangered my sister and her children. I dishonored my mother's memory. I will spend the rest of my life making amends, if they'll let me. A silence in the room. The prosecutor nodded. Thank you, Mr. Zaha. The feed cut. Maya exhaled, shuddering. He looked different. He is, I said. Ramirez called 30 minutes later. Indictments coming fast. Korsakov's in custody. Arrested at a motel in Gary an hour ago. Full confession pending. Your son's testimony sealed the case. He's being released to protective custody here, same location. Tonight. Maya stood. I want to see him. I nodded. When Jackson arrived, escorted, no cuffs, he stepped through the door like a man walking into sunlight after years underground. The boys ran to him, uncertain at first, then hugging his legs. Uncle Jackson. He knelt, hugged them back, tears falling into their hair. Maya stood in the doorway. He looked up. Maya. She walked forward, slow, stopped in front of him, raised her hand that he didn't flinch. She placed it on his cheek. You scared me, she whispered. I know. You endangered my children. I know. You used Mom's memory to hurt Dad. I know. She searched his face. Then she pulled him into a hug, fierce. Wordless, he held her like she might vanish. That I watched. Heart so full it hurt. When they separated, Jackson turned to me. Dad. I opened my arms. He stepped in. That we held each other. Long, silent, and no more words needed. The marshals gave us space. Outside, the fields stretched dark and quiet. Inside, a family, fractured, scarred, but standing, began the slow work of mending. Korsakov's arrest made national news the next day. Small article, buried in business sections. Loan shark ring dismantled after family testimony. We didn't read it. We were too busy living. Jackson stayed in the safe house, separate room, but same roof. Therapy started, group and individual. Maya joined sessions with him. I sat in when invited. Forgiveness didn't arrive overnight. That it came in pieces. A shared meal, a quiet apology, a child's laughter pulling them together. One evening, 2 weeks in, Maya, Jackson, and I sat on the porch after the boys slept. Maya spoke first. I'm not ready to forget, she said. But I'm ready to try remembering the good again. Jackson nodded. That's enough. I looked at them. My children, bruised but breathing. Then we start there. The stars came out, clear, cold, endless. And for the first time in months, the night felt safe. Not because the danger was gone, but because we'd chosen, together, to face it. That if this emotional peak, where confession meets grace, where siblings bridge the chasm with raw honesty, and a father witnesses his children choose healing over hate, has moved you to tears or hope. Comment your thoughts below. Have you ever seen someone you love take full responsibility in a moment that could have destroyed everything? What did it change in you? Your stories are the quiet miracles that keep these journeys alive. The safe house in Kenosha became our temporary world for the next 8 weeks, long enough for the indictments to solidify, for Korsakov and his remaining crew to be arraigned in federal court, and for the first fragile threads of healing to weave themselves back into our family. The farmhouse had wide windows that let in pale winter light, a creaky wooden porch overlooking snow-dusted fields, and a kitchen big enough for all of us to stand around the island without feeling crowded. Marshals still rotated outside, but their presence grew quieter, less intrusive. The threat had receded, not vanished, but pushed far enough back that we could breathe without tasting fear on every inhale. The boys adapted fastest. Elijah and Theo turned the backyard into an endless adventure. Snowball fights, building lopsided forts, chasing the neighbor's dog that sometimes wandered over from the next property. Their laughter became the soundtrack of those days. High, unburdened, reminding us what normal could still sound like. Maya watched them from the kitchen window every morning, coffee in hand, a small, tentative smile breaking through the exhaustion that still shadowed her eyes. Jackson stayed in the smaller guest room at the far end of the hallway. He kept his door open during the day, a silent offering of transparency. He didn't push for forgiveness. He simply showed up, made breakfast with the boys, pancakes shaped like dinosaurs, eggs scrambled just the way Elijah liked. Helped Theo with math homework even when his own hands shook from withdrawal tremors. Sat quietly on the porch with Maya when the kids napped, not speaking unless she spoke first. I watched it all from the edges, sometimes joining, sometimes retreating to the small study to read old letters from Grace I'd brought in a shoebox. Her handwriting still felt alive on the page. Remember, love doesn't keep score. It keeps showing up. I read that line so many times the paper creased under my thumb. Therapy happened twice a week. Virtual sessions for the adults, play-based for the boys. The counselor, a gentle woman named Dr. Patel, met us on a secure link. She never rushed. She let silences breathe. In one session, Maya spoke first. I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop, she said. Like if I let myself trust Jackson again, something worse will happen. Like the break-ins were just the beginning. Jackson listened, head bowed, hands clasped between his knees. Dr. Patel asked gently, what would it look like to trust without waiting for proof? Maya exhaled. It would look like letting him read bedtime stories again, letting him pick up the boys from school when we're back home, letting him be Uncle Jackson without a question mark every time he walks in the room. Jackson lifted his head. I don't expect that yet. I just want the chance to earn it. One day at a time. I spoke then, voice rough from disuse. I spent years building walls so nothing could hurt us again after Grace left. But walls don't protect. They isolate. I see that now. Dr. Patel nodded. And what happens when you lower a wall? You risk the wind, I said. But you also let the light in. The session ended with no grand resolutions. Just small agreements, daily check-ins, no secrets about finances or plans, weekly family meetings even after we left the safe house. Week 6 brought the first real test. Ramirez called with news. Korsakov had taken a plea. 25 years. The network dismantled. Protective custody could end in stages. First for the boys and Maya, then for Jackson, finally for me. We could return to Chicago by spring. That night, after the boys were asleep, the three of us sat around the kitchen table, coffee gone cold, a plate of half-eaten cookies between us. Maya broke the quiet. I want to go home, she said. But I don't want to go back to the way things were. Separate houses. Separate lives. Separate secrets. Jackson looked at her, hope flickering but cautious. What do you want instead? She took a breath. I want Sunday dinners. All of us. At Dad's house. Or wherever we rebuild. I want the boys to know their uncle isn't a ghost who shows up once a year. I want you to be part of the everyday. But I need rules. Transparency. If money troubles come again, you tell us. No hiding. No borrowing from shadows. Jackson nodded, slow, solemn. I'll sign whatever agreement you want. Financial oversight. Joint accounts for emergencies. Therapy reports shared. Whatever it takes. I added my piece. And the trusts, I said. They stay. But I'm changing them. Equal shares for you both. No vesting ages tied to behavior. Just time and presence. You show up, you stay clean, you build. The money follows the man, not the other way around. Maya reached across the table, took Jackson's hand. Then mine. Then we do this, she said. Together. Jackson's eyes filled. Thank you. We sat there until the kitchen clock ticked past midnight. Three adults who'd almost lost everything, choosing instead to rebuild it brick by brick. Spring came slow but sure. The marshals cleared us to return in mid-March. The new house in Hyde Park was finished, same lot, but different bones. Wider hallways, open kitchen flowing into a family room, a porch twice the size of the old one. Roses waited in pots on the steps, ready to be planted. Moving day felt like resurrection. The boys ran through empty rooms claiming territory. Maya directed boxes with quiet authority. Jackson carried the heaviest ones, silent, steady, sweat on his brow. I stood in the doorway watching my children work side by side for the first time in years. When the last box was in, we collapsed on the porch steps, dusty, tired, alive. Maya looked at the empty yard. We need to plant Mom's roses, she said. Jackson stood. I'll dig the holes. I smiled. I'll get the shovel. We worked until dusk, soil under our nails, laughter mixing with the scent of fresh earth. The boys helped pat the dirt down, watering cans sloshing. When the last bush was in place, Maya stepped back. They'll bloom in June, she said. Just like always. Jackson wiped his hands on his jeans. They'll outlive us, he said softly. Radiance that keeps going. I placed a hand on each of their shoulders. That's the point, I told them. We don't just survive. We bloom again. The first Sunday dinner happened 2 weeks later. Maya cooked. Jollof rice the way Grace taught her. Fried plantains, chicken stew. Jackson brought dessert. Store-bought cheesecake. But he decorated it with fresh berries in the shape of a heart. The boys set the table. Mismatched plates. Grace's china mixed in proudly. We sat down at 6 sharp. No one spoke for the first few bites. Just the sound of forks, quiet chewing, the occasional pass the rice. Then Elijah piped up. Uncle Jackson, can you tell us the story about when you and Mommy got lost in the museum? Jackson looked at Maya, question in his eyes. She nodded, small, but real. He cleared his throat. Once upon a time, he began. Your mom and I were 6 and 10. Grandpa took us to the Field Museum. We wanted to see the dinosaurs, but we got distracted by the gift shop. When we looked up, Grandpa was gone. Theo leaned forward. Were you scared? Terrified, Jackson said. But your mom, she was 6. She grabbed my hand and said, Don't worry, Jackie. We'll find him. We're Zahas. We don't get lost forever. Maya smiled. Real, soft. And we didn't, she finished. Grandpa found us 10 minutes later buying candy with his credit card. The boys laughed that I watched my children, eyes meeting over the table, a shared memory bridging the years of distance. After dinner, the boys ran to the backyard to play tag. Maya, Jackson, and I cleared plates in silence that felt companionable, not heavy. Jackson spoke first, low, so the kids wouldn't hear. I started a job last week, he said. Entry-level analyst at a small firm downtown. Background check cleared. Salary's modest. But it's honest. Maya nodded. I'm proud of you. He looked at her, surprised. I mean it, she said. You could have run. You stayed. That matters. He swallowed. I'm saving for restitution. Every paycheck, 20% goes to you and Dad until the debt's clear. I shook my head. Keep 10. The rest, put toward the boys' college. Or a house fund. Whatever you need to build your own stability. He started to protest that I held up a hand. That's the deal. We're family. We help each other stand, not carry each other forever. He nodded, tears shining but not falling. Maya reached over, squeezed his wrist. Sunday dinners, she said. Every week. No excuses. Every week, he promised that we finished cleaning. Joined the boys outside. Watched them chase fireflies as dusk deepened. Months turned to seasons. Jackson moved into a small apartment in Bronzeville, close enough to visit, far enough for independence. He came for dinner every Sunday, sometimes bringing Maria, the scheduler from his old job who'd waited through his darkest months and stayed. They married quietly in October. Courthouse, just us, the boys as ring bearers. Maya stood beside him as best woman. I walked Maria down the short aisle. The following spring, Maya and David began separation proceedings. Amicable, focused on the boys. David entered his own recovery program, paid restitution from his salary, visited under supervision. Forgiveness came slower there, but it came. The boys still called him Dad. Maya still called him co-parent. Boundaries held, but love didn't vanish. Jackson and Maria announced a baby girl in December. They named her Grace Adebayo Zaha. When she was born, I held her first, tiny fingers curling around mine, dark eyes already curious. Welcome, little one, I whispered. Your name means radiance. And Grace. We're them both. Jackson watched from the bedside, tears unashamed. Maya leaned over, kissed her niece's forehead. She's perfect. Years blurred into moments that mattered. Sunday dinners became tradition. Sometimes at my house, sometimes at Maya's new condo, sometimes at Jackson's growing family home in Logan Square. The boys grew tall, Elijah playing soccer, Theo drawing comics. Grace Adebayo learned to walk on the rebuilt porch, roses blooming behind her point one evening. 5 years after the break-ins, Jackson and I stood on that porch after everyone else had gone inside. He handed me a small envelope. Final payment, he said. Restitution. Every cent plus interest. I opened it. A check. Modest, but complete. I tore it in half. Keep it, I said. Start a trust for Grace. Or donate it to the Grace Zaha Memorial Scholarship. But don't give it back to me. He stared at the torn pieces. Dad, you already paid, I told him. With every Sunday you showed up. Every therapy session. Every time you chose truth over hiding. That's the currency that matters. He hugged me. Long, wordless. Inside, Maya called the kids to cake. Grace's first birthday that we went in together. The table was set with Grace's china. Polished, proud. Candles flickered. The little girl clapped chubby hands that we sang. And in that moment, laughter rising, faces lit by one small flame. I knew. The cameras had caught shadows, but love had caught us, and we had chosen, again and again, to step into the light. Radiance reclaimed, not perfect, but whole, forever, if this closing chapter of slow blooming. Forgiveness, rebuilt Sundays, new life carrying old names, and a family that refused to let betrayal be the final word, has stirred something deep in you. Comment your thoughts below with radiance, if you believe healing is never too late, or share the moment someone in your life chose to show up again, when walking away would have been easier. Your stories are the quiet proof that love still wins. Thank you for walking every shadowed step with Mr. Zaha, Maya, and Jackson, from hidden lenses to open hearts, from fracture to fragile, enduring light. Thank you so much for watching my story all the way to the end. Your support means everything. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts.